and welcome to the Wargaming.net League 2015-2016 Season 2 Gold Series Finals. That is a mouthful, but we are here from the ESL studios, live from Cologne, Germany. I'm your host for this one-day event, Luke Neller, but I'm not alone. To my left, I have your analysis for this event, the Dead Zone from Pentasports. How you doing, sir?
Doing great. Really hoping for some great matches today. DiNG, Kasna, Wombats, Tornado Rocks, all looking great.
And also to his left, you must know this man by now, but from the Kasna Crew clan, we have Mr. Mojo.
Mighty Commander. Dandy and sharp as usual.
So which match are you looking forward to the most today?
Oh, I wonder. Oh, let's say a Kasna versus Wombats, maybe.
I wondered if that was. But we're not alone. It's not just men here. We also have the lovely Melly in charge of the social media corner. Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Not so bad. We've missed you.
I'm really excited for today's matches, and I'm already like all eager to start them up and all. And I'm really looking forward to this day. I mean, we worked so hard throughout the whole season for this very special day, and now we're here, and I think it's going to be pretty amazing.
Yeah, exactly, and I think you've hit it off exactly. We need to see what happened so far. Let's have a look at the story so far in Season 2.
Genghis pushes forward. Guccio sees him first, so he gets a shot towards him. Genghis now does take that one hit. He's forced to chase after Guccio. Now Guccio is just going to have to bow down and let that one happen. Neither of the tanks is going up against autoloaders in themselves. It's all about who gets the first shot. Now one shot connects, one misses. Genghis going to get that aim down time, which is a little bit long on that batcher. One towards Andre. He's going to have a second one ready as well. One towards Hunterzord. Going back and forth. He should have put two towards one tank. This next shot will be very, very important, and Genghis will have it. He should be able to finish this one off on his own. He's taking his time, and a one-man army comes through. Genghis, a 1v3. Beautiful stuff there. Perfect.
All right, Desek, what have you got here? Can you find out where Diplomat is? They spotted each other. Diplomat now has shells. Can he make this count? One gonna hit. Look for another. Gonna get it. This is huge from Diplomat. He can pull this one off. It's down to these last couple of seconds. Diplomat has maybe a shot lined up here. Does he go for the aggress? Does he go for this? Pushing around, looking for the shot. Gonna take one back. Now down to pretty much a one-shot between these two. Diplomat, 76 HP. Oh, he whiffs the shot there. That could have been it. Desek now has a chance, and he takes it. Brilliantly shuts down Diplomat.
Happy Bubble is actually Amarak, so all the advantages of the SDB are now gone. Insane has to bounce this.
Oh no, it goes in towards the front. No damage down. Insane actually going to survive that shot. The tension is real though. 15 seconds left now, 14. One of these tanks has to take a shot. In fact, Insane doesn't really have to do anything except sustain through. Happy Bubble wants to go for the shot. He was going to come around the corner, but Insane will catch him. Oops, still get it done in the last few seconds.
Can he land one of these shells? He needs to be able to make it 100% guaranteed. And Tornado wins his first one found, 2 more to go.
And surely the Annihilator can't keep withstanding this. Where is the support from Didor? The Annihilator is going 1v3 right now, and there we go, it comes in the end. And what a way to seal the deal.
All right, well, I mean, Papa now...
Gonna have to do that blind shot thing for the second time.
This can be so
map.
hype. This could be hype. Oh, he's done it! Udi Pablo hits the deck. What a shot from Papa Pavian. He's secured Utopia's victory. He's got his gun up in the air. No information whatsoever for Papa, just a guess, and he's landed the shot, and he's done it. 3 seconds left. Utopia are going to go 3-1.
His driver's down. John can't keep up with Desha.
Oh, brilliant stuff here. John doesn't actually have a first aid kit to deal with this here. He misses that shot. Desha now has a window of opening. He's going to go in for 2. 1, go for the second here. John's going to be off reload really quickly though. Desha needs to get back around the corner, and he does. This is perfect. This could be huge here. 5 minutes and 15 seconds left. Desha will have his reload up. 2 shots, and John will be dead. John is hoping to put some distance between him and Desha for whatever reason.
Down, though, I mean...
Yeah, his gun is damaged. His drive is dead, so he's slow. He can't maneuver quickly, and the reason why that's so important is that he can't chase Desha around houses anymore. Desha's too fast. Also, Desha... Oh, no! What was that, HG? It was HG. He's tracked John up, though. One more shot will do it. Desha comes forward. One shot into the house. One more to finish it up. There it is. Utopia have done it.
This can't happen, surely not. So few options here. They have to work in perfect synergy with this, land the perfect shots, take the perfect amount of damage, and not allow us to fall to pieces. But already starting to trade out a little bit here. Formula going to try and go into this one, but just going a little bit low here. Shell does come out, and suddenly we're in a 2v3. But look who's got the shells and where they're available. Formula has 3 to make. Everyone else is pretty well set here as Geralt is on reload. He's going to have to wait this one out.
No, why did Formula come off the hill?
What?
He's trying to chase. He's trying to chase catch. He's just going to get killed by Hunter's Lord now. This is terrible play from Formula 1. Can he hit the clutch shot? Yes, he can. He got the reload. He found the kill. And that's kept out of range in this game. 654, 2 versus 2. Karov, though, getting spotted. Damage from catch coming in. First shell doesn't hit for the second one. Now Formula 1 will be able to find it. That's going to put it in a 2 versus 1 situation. And the Object 140 misses a shell. The new player from Strong Sierra is absolutely making a mare of this one. Will he hit the next one? Yes, he will. He keeps his team in this game. He finds a snapshot. And I'm surprised that Batchat didn't manage to get away with that one. Formula 1 trying to run away with his life in his hands, and he's going to have to try and beat Michael Schumacher. Formula 1's got to be careful. He actually misses it. Formula 1 now has an opportunity to shoot him. He's got about 3 seconds left.
Oh, he's got it as well. He hits the shot. Formula 1 on the last couple of seconds. He just needs to stay alive. Nothing more to it. Brilliantly played to the time, and there we go. That Object 140 can just sit and watch as that clock will run out beneath him, and Formula 1, what a brilliant bit of play.
Breakneck's trying to fight right back, Baguette, probably just trying to get some ego play from him.
Yeah, absolutely, of course. But and I don't know how much ego you're going to get for trying to be set on fire as well. That's unfortunate. He does manage to alleviate that problem there as well. I doubt it was a fire extinguisher. He drops down, so Breakneck actually makes us a 2v2. Genghis should see him first, and he will have to snap his turret into position. They spot each other at the same side. Breakneck, sorry, misses the first shot. Genghis is actually just being patient here, but he's going to have to fire pretty quickly. Breakneck might be able to pick him up here. The bounce from the Batchat, the Hail Mary, the once in a blue moon comes in for Breakneck. He's got one shot now. Genghis, though, has reload. It's 1v1. Breakneck gets it done. Well, Ricard, it really depends where he's got his turret turned there. He's been spotted now. Both have been spotted. Who's going to get a shot? And it's wicked. That is massive. Absolutely massive. And now it's a 1v1. The sooner he fires, the sooner he'll have reload to have a second shot. Oh, no! Not quite enough splash. Wicked. 4 points of health left. It doesn't get any closer than this. And he finishes off Diplomat. Incredible stuff here. And Utopia take the second round. I cannot believe it. Yet again, these two teams give us these highlight moments. I've never seen that before. RNG on the splash, just not enough for DiNG there. Oh, I think they've got it here, Ollie. I don't really know if Papa can actually get the reset. It's going to be another clutch shot from MV Papa. Let's see if he can do it. He's going to try and stay safe. He knows that he needs to be a little bit risky if he wants to poke out and get shots here. Needs a good reset. Got shot there as well. His viewfinder went down. I guess he's not going to use it. They're all blind shots. Papa parrying, you freak of nature. He gets the blind shot. He gets the victory for Utopia. I don't know how he did it. 4 seconds left. This guy is literally doing my head in.
Well, those were the highlights, but that doesn't tell necessarily the whole story. We do need to see that league to see exactly where people ended up, because it's not a clear story from those highlights exactly where people landed. Tornado Rocks have finished first. That means they are first seed here in the tournament, and Wombats on Tanks second. Now, this might be a little bit confusing, so pay attention. DiNG, Oops, 5th place, Nakabrud, and Kaz the Crew in 6th. They all had to play off to see who is still at their peak performance, to see who could challenge Tornado Rocks and Wombats here on the offline. Cancer Crew came number 1. They came first in that playoff, so they are here as 3rd seed. And DiNG, who were 3rd, have come in as 4th seed because they came 2nd in that playoff. So don't worry about that. All we know, it is Tornado Rocks 1st, Wombats and Tanks 2nd, Cancer Crew 3rd, and 4th we have DiNG. So that's the seeding for this tournament. So let's have a look at these battles. How did that actually come, and how are we going to see that play out here today? Now, the first battle coming up very, very shortly will be Tornado Rocks versus DiNG. Followed afterwards, not so long afterwards, we do have Cancer Crew facing off against Wombats on Tanks. So those are the battles, but it's single elimination, which means as soon as they've lost, they're out, and the winners go through to the finals. Nice and simple. The first battles will be played of a best of 9. That means the first to 5 victories, that is it. 5 victories, you are through to the next round. We are playing on 4 maps, which means attack, defense, attack, defense, attack, defense, and obviously we end if someone gets to 5 points. If it is 4-4, these guys do get to have a tiny little break as they repick their tanks for the playoff map, which will be Cliffs. Other than that, they have to pick all their tanks right at the start. It's a blind pick for the entire series, which means it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all in a row with no breaks. So this is going to be amazing tank-on-tank action. You guys, how does the map picking work, though? That thing is something I've never had to do.
It can get confusing if you're new to it, but basically one team bans one, another team bans one, and then they pick one each, and then it goes on until the end. That's how we got our 4 maps and a tiebreaker, and we could see that both of them avoided the tiebreaker as a picked map.
Yeah, the tiebreaker being Cliff, they're not having it. So which are the 4 maps for this battle coming up?
So we will see some Himmelsdorf, Ruinberg, Mines, maybe Steps, if it goes on. And if we're lucky, we might even see some Cliff.
Yeah, we might see some Cliff. But that is for the battle. We also have a few things that you guys at home can get on board with. So I don't know the exact details. Melly, what's going on?
Of course, we never come empty-handed. I mean, people who are already watched one of our shows know that. And for everyone that just joined, thank you in first place. And of course, we have plenty of good stuff, which I'm happily willing to give out. We have Type 59s, we have Type 62s, we have Logitech gaming gear, we have bonus codes, we have gold, so we have pretty much everything. This is one of our main raffles you can definitely get involved in. You simply have to register, head over to wgl.gg/raffle and get yourselves involved, and also invite friends to higher your chance of winning, actually. So the more the merrier, the more vouchers, the higher your chances are of actually winning one of those amazing prizes. I mean, we have enough, kind of. Almost 300 bonus codes alone, and of course, as said, gaming gear and bonus codes and that famous Type 59.
But you do remember you're supposed to give 4 headsets out because you promised me one?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later, Mojo. There was a slight issue, but I'm taking care of it. Don't worry. And of course, the other thing I really want to promote is our team vote, because we love reading from our guys at home. You can tweet us by simply using the hashtag WGLEU and making sure that I can see your tweets, because I'm sitting here solely for you. If it's on Twitch chat, if it's on Twitter, if it's on Facebook, I'm here for you guys. So I'm keeping my eyes on you. So keep me happy by tweeting me. Use the hashtag WGLEU. And as said, the team voting. We always want to know how the trend of the community kind of shows. And currently, Tornado Rocks is sitting on 68%. Which is
favorable.
Absolutely. I mean, we're on the offline finals. Tornado Rocks are used to higher votings, to be honest. If they have a matchup coming up and people have to vote, well, to decide if it's either Tornado Rocks or the other team, it usually goes to Tornado Rocks, having the numbers around the 80% marker. But, well, we're on the offline finals. We saw amazing things happen here already. And I think today is another great day to have a lot of surprises waiting for us.
That's the thing with offline finals. There's always something that can happen that maybe wouldn't happen online. The higher chance of fatigue or random things happening and setting off the players. We've often discussed this at the desk. But as we've talked about Tornado Rocks with the 68% from you guys at home, let's see what they have to say for themselves.
After a loss, we took a close look at the videos and trained better than before. Varsek is the one who keeps us better and motivate the players. Team Oops did very well this season, and we didn't expect them. Oops should be on the finals too. Our hardest match was against DiNG because we didn't expect to lose. Our highlight was the match against Wombats on tanks. We are not happy about our performance during the season because we lost 2 games. After the finals, we will have 1 week off and prepare for the grand final. We have a lot of self-discipline and we are a hard-working team. Our first match is against DiNG and we want to pay them back.
Well, number one isn't good enough. If it's not good enough, I don't know what is. But you guys are more familiar with this sort of thing. You know, you're in there, you've done your best, you're still number one, but always room for improvement?
Quite. Tornado Rocks has really seasoned players, all players for different kind of teams, but together they're only 2 seasons, so that can be their weakness. And if they over-exaggerate their importance, that can bounce off. Maybe the DiNGs will actually hit something.
Not ding off.
Yeah, they played really good this season, 9 victories out of 11, some close games. They lost to DiNG though in the online season on match day 4, so we can see maybe they want to take a revenge on them and win their game this time.
Wow, so these guys are super strong. They're very good guys. The fact is they were second last season, they're first this season, and they are super strong. But we've also seen some not so strong performances offline. And as you said, they have lost against their opponents once already. So although they may be statistically the favorite, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to come out on tops. Now, everyone at home says 68%. Are you guys feeling that it's definitely in their favor?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's even higher because that match was long ago and it was even in first part of the season before the TVPs even were used, which had great impact later. Also, DiNG started to fall off their high peak of the game lately, so they definitely have an edge now.
Yeah, they've been performing worse overall. Leslie with the pre-playoffs, they made it eventually, but it was some close. They lost against Kazna eventually, but they made it, and they made it to the offlines. Maybe they prepared some great tactics. They held something back, looking for some good tactics to use this time.
We must remember that DiNG has only 2 seasoned players in their team. That's Mary and International. International is not here, while Tornado has guys like Lusik and Idor who played on grand finals, as example, Vorsik and so on, Annihilator. Like, they're really the flagships of any teams where they played.
I mean, I had the honor of talking to the teams yesterday, and I must admit, DiNG is very confident about their appearance today, and I think they're holding something back, and I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what it is, actually, because I talked to them, and they're aware of their failures in the past season, and I think they kind of managed to fix it, and they're not afraid of Tornado.
So let's hear it from DiNG themselves. What have they got to say about the last season?
We have a pre-game ritual. Before every game, Diplomat sings in his perfect English language, and that cheers us up and releases the pressure before the game. Every loss is tough, but after every game we can discuss it, and Diplomat is the one that's always keeping up the morale. The most underrated tank of the season is American Tier 8 light tank T49. We showed that it's really good in games even with a stock turret and stock gun. Key moment of the season was our win against OOPS in playoffs, which secured our place at LAN finals. Honestly, I think we have the 4 best teams on the finals, but I would like to see OOPS or Knackerboard on the LANs. We never give up. Even when we lose a couple of rounds, we still fight back and try to win the match. Tornado Rocks is probably the best team in Europe, considering the individual skill of their players. And facing them in the finals will be a big challenge for our team, but we know we can do it. We already beat Tornado Rocks once this season, and we are sure we will do it again.
They've done it once already. They're going to do it again. Let's see if that is the case. There's DiNG.
DiNG is a team that might surprise us with some bold tactic. They have nothing to lose here in my eyes, and they might just do something crazy and amaze us. That's how I see it.
Yeah, they finished 3rd in the online season, quite unexpected in front of the season, and they managed to pull it off, and maybe they pull it off again. Surprise everyone here.
Yeah, it's actually a thing that's unexpected. We don't know how these guys are going to do it because they've had a little bit of fluctuation during the season. They were not as consistent maybe as some of the other teams. And in fact, I think early on, some people thought they were going to be in the top 2 for sure. Well, that's what we think. And I think you guys at home need to sway that 68% after hearing that.
Absolutely. I mean, head over to our team voting over at facebook.com/WGLEU and get yourselves involved. There are 15 bonus codes waiting for the 15 first correct predictions of this matchup. You simply have to vote for your favorite team by pressing the regarding team logo and then predicting the exact scoreline in the little text field below, sending it off, hoping for the best. And if you, as said, one of the 15 fastest correct predictors, you might win a bonus code. And of course, the other thing I really want to promote is we had that on the Rumble in the West, actually, where we rewarded exceptional behavior in Twitch chat, and people loved it. And I loved it as well, because you guys were happy, and I love making you happy. So behave in Twitch chat, and if a mod thinks that you're actually, well, honorable enough, and you might win 5,000 gold by simply being nice to other Twitch chatters. Isn't that nice? Like, don't join Twitch chat now, Mojo.
He's eyeing there.
He's like,
I'm eyeing it. I'm eyeing it.
I can do that for 5,000 gold.
I just want to add up that I'm really surprised they actually chose to play Himmel and Mainz. Himmel is their worst and least played map, DiNGs, and Mainz they lost in 3 last matches 2-0. So whatever happens here, it will be something new, because they were known to play repetitive tactics. They cannot go with it.
Well, we're going to find out very soon. So let's first of all make a little bit of noise there in Twitch chat. Who is a DiNG supporter and who's on Tornado Rocks? And if you have no preference, type banana. We want to hear from you. Go in the chat, go bananas. And, well, we need to get you guys chatting. We need to see who's the best behaved. And we do like a little bit of naughtiness. Anyway, it's too much of us. Let's get into battles. Let's see those tanks. And to take you through the battles, you have your favorite Australian and his big British brain. You have uber shouts and laughter.
Yes, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We are here in the studios. The Habanero Bros keeping it spicy for you. It's going to be a cracker of a first match as well. A bit of a grudge match, Oliver Maxfield, as Tornado Rocks do want revenge against DiNG, but what a scary stage to have to do it on here. It is do or die for all of these teams today.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, DiNG has beaten Tornado. We already talked about that a little bit, but that was like right at the beginning of the season. So this is an entirely different ball game. We have a different match. Of course, I mean, Tornado has more experience than DiNG. Yep. DiNG's our least experienced team on that stage right now. I mean, we already saw in the stats that Tornado won the Continental Rumble, which is in October in Poznan, Poland, at the Earth Hall, and it was a great match. They played really well against Wombats. Could be a rematch today. We'll have to see, of course, just a one-day event, and you can see the lineups on your screen there. FV4005 coming out from Tornado. Interesting pick.
Not the first time we've seen it. Actually, it was in the last match week they brought it out against Strong Siema, and it was Diodor in the FV4005 up on the hill of Himmelsdorf, just laying some shots in as well. Strong Siema kind of walked into the trap there against Rocks, but I'd be surprised if DiNG were to make the same mistake. 8th place last season, 3rd place this season, and now with a finals berth, these guys are here to play. They are here without international, of course. Stoik is stepping in for them, Oliver. Still a strong lineup, still very, very strong tacticians there as well, and they're mic dropping their way to victory, or at least they hope so. It is Himmelsdorf to start things off here, ladies and gentlemen, the quintessential city map. And Tornado Rocks, I would say, looking at their tank picks, are going to be on the attacking side first.
It's going to be a really interesting match. I mean, as Mojo said, Himmelsdorf is not a team we've really seen DiNG, really a map we've seen DiNG perform on. So I think, as he said, he mentioned perfectly, we're going to see something new from the team. And at the end of the day, a lot of teams, they like to bring up a new map when they haven't seen it before, you know, like when they haven't really performed on it, because then they can bring an entirely new tactic. So it's, of course, Tornado on the attack and DiNG on the defense. And yeah, we've seen this FV4005 from Tornado before, and they just put it hull down basically on that hill. And the reason why they like to pick it, even though it's like technically, in my opinion, I guess everyone else's opinion, it's the worst tier 10 tank, is that it's pretty quick and it's decent hull down.
So you can see here, we've got the first-person view for you guys. It's Armageddon up on the hill in the 3090, just trying to spot some stuff out, and he did manage to see an FV215B on that 8 line, which shouldn't really surprise him too much. But what it does tell Tornado Rocks is that there will be at least one tank watching the street crossing from B0 to A0. So if Tornado want to go for a for an A-line push, they need to at least cross that street here. Now you can see from our view, DiNG are heavily set up to defend this one. Stoik's going to be in the Conqueror, the tier 9, and there'll be a tier 10 off towards the side as well. So DiNG a little bit light up on the western side. A lot of focus in the east here.
It's going to be an interesting play because I actually think both these two teams are pretty weak on this map. You know, for instance, Wombats, they were able to beat Tornado 2-0 on this one. So I kind of think this is going to be probably one of those matches where we get to see how well, for instance, DiNG is settling into their LAN environment. Is Tornado suffering at all? And how is that international, it's strike instead of international thing coming in? Of course, you know, international being one of the main players for DiNG the whole season. And it looks like at the beginning, at least, Tornado's doing that tactic we saw Kaz crew do against Oops when they qualified into the season finals, where they put the T110E3 behind this rubble pile, making it basically invincible, and that allows the rest of the tanks to cross towards that cap number 2.
And they could put the FV4003 hull down behind that guy as well, 4005, sorry. So there's 2 tank destroyers for the price of 1 on that corner, and the Tornado now have been able to cross over. You saw from Meritorious' point of view, he was lit. He had to back up, and Armageddon will be going first. 1 shot goes in towards him. The Annihilator and Luciquel also want to cross there as well. We'll see Rulzik and Shock is sitting at the back, trying to get some shots in here.
And see if he can actually do any damage here. I mean, Lucic's just going to be able to hold down this FE215B very nicely. You can see they're trying to do some damage. And actually, you can shoot through the side of that FE, and you actually see some good tactics now we have first person in terms of the individual player ability. But the main point here is the fact that the AMX 1390 is now sitting in that cap. It's putting pressure on, it's making DiNG come towards him, and they have to commit to something. And of course, this being a standard tactic on this map now, they must have some sort of, you know, some sort of set play to take care of it.
And Luciquel here, you saw it on the screen, Dynamo off to his left side. They're just going to watch down this 8 line. So Tornado Rocks are going to sneak their way in towards this 8 line, and they've set up here. They've denied a lot of area away from DiNG, and you can see they're consistently keeping them lit. It's the FC Dynamo and Rulzik now. Pretty hard battle to fight there. Of course, this is the 110E5 was hulled down. Stoik's going to push across, so we might want to interrupt this capture. A lot of Tornado Rocks are set up on the corner. Someone has to go forward. It's going to be that Conqueror. Shots are coming out here, fairly even. And we see Stoik wants to try and get some damage on towards the Armageddon.
He should be able to get the reset at least once, but he shouldn't push in right now because, of course, you know, he doesn't have to. It's only 57% left on that cap. So he's got a little bit of time to play around with now, and there's also T10 now hulled down, but Strike's going around the corner now, a lot of shots are being made, gets the reset, and that's obviously going to make sure that he's dead. They're going to be able to kill him, no problem at all, but it's still 4 minutes off the clock.
And Rakar hasn't actually really been able to stay that safe back in this corner. You can see what he's doing. This is his point of view. He's not even trying to shoot people, he's trying to get them lit, get a bit of an idea at least of what Tornado are trying to do. But so far, if they're just capping this out, they're going to draw DiNG towards this one. And DiNG need to make some sort of rotation. But Tornado have a lot of cover. In fact, any sort of entry route towards Tornado's setup is being watched. We saw, of course, A8 is being covered by FC Dynamo and another FV215B. The Annihilator and Luciquel here as well. They're terrorizing Rakar from the corner. Meritorious is going for a push here, but there are 2 angles he can be shot by. He's still going to go forward. He doesn't want to stop. He may be able to get the reset. More importantly, he has to stay alive. DiNG can't throw too many tanks away here.
And he also has to make sure he gets the shots on the right tanks, because otherwise he won't be able to reset in time. But this is good pressure for DiNG. You can see they're starting to trail a little bit of HP, and they've lost 2 tanks. Of course, Tornado Rocks will have all 6 now, so I would say, I mean, it's still a pretty even game. I'd like to see what the Diplomat in the Waffentrager and Hultnik in the Waffentrager do as well.
Yeah, if they can get into position, that's the problem, because Tornado have so much set up to protect any egress towards the core of their lineup. Rulzik drops down, the Annihilator picks him up, and Meritorious is waiting on his reload. Hultnik would like to come forward, but he's not sure if he's going to be watched from that corner. In fact, we know he is. There's a 110E3 and an FV405 watching the push. So many options here for DiNG are being stripped away from them.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do now. I mean, you can see at some point the Waffentragers just have to go for it. They have to be aggressive, and they just have to go around those corners. If they do manage to go around the corner without taking too much damage, with that 50B even, I mean, those 2 tanks will fall extraordinarily quickly. They also need to use Shockish and Diplomat, or at least Shockish, to go forwards towards FC Dynamo, keep that FV215B at bay. Otherwise, it's just going to be a bit of a whitewash for Tornado Rocks.
Meritorious needs a resetting shot. I think he actually hit a modular, a crew member there on that shot in towards Luciquel here. It did at least delay things for a little bit, but it may not be enough. Now Meritorious, things getting a little bit dangerous for him. He's going low. He's going to come forward and get a shot. That'll help the reset. But of course, he's going to get pushed back onto, and the kill comes out. Meritorious falls to Luciquel, and this double FV215B working very, very nicely. DiNG, now, where the heck is the next line of reinforcements going to come from? Hultnik may have to cross, but he's been lit. And you know those tank destroyers on the hill are going to hurt him. Only 1 shot here, and Shockish now comes forward. Hultnik was to draw the fire. Shockish comes in. He gets hammered by the Waffentrager, though, but he's still going to get the reset with a couple seconds left. He should be able to get this one. He takes a lot of damage, and no, he's not able to get the reset. That should be the game. In fact, I think it is. Tornado Rocks have done it. Shockish, one shot, one chance, and he's fluffed it up.
Yeah, I mean, that's that one shot he had to make. He didn't have the real angle on the FE2 on 5B. He had to go for it. And of course, the penetration, even with that APC ammo, is still not going to be able to penetrate particularly reliably at that angle. And, you know, this is the tactic we've seen on attack on Himmelsdorf for the last 2-3 weeks. Is I don't see how you can really beat it. I mean, you could see what DiNG were trying to do. They were sending one by one tanks into that kind of capping position, and they were seeing if they could get the resets until that timer went down to 0. Yep. Tornado still had 3.5 minutes left on the clock there, so they still had a lot of time to play with. And they're at the point where they were so far ahead in terms of hit points that they could have just gone forwards and actually just killed all the tanks on DiNG. So yeah, I mean, not a particularly great round for DiNG, but again, it's the hardest tactic to beat right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've had multiple times over the ages of the WGL, Ollie, where a team has said, we have the unbreakable tactic, especially on Himmelsdorf as well. Everyone loves the theory craft, think about this map and how to play it out. This might just be the strongest strategy we've seen so far. Look up the top. You got the 2 tank destroyers. You double tap any tank crossing over. I mean, there's 3 actually. You had an FE400-5, a Waffentrager, and a 110E3. So you can one-shot pretty much any tank with those guys. Even the second shot coming in from the Waffentrager. I think Shockish was lucky to even get in position to maybe have a reset with those big tanks watching the corner.
Yeah, I think he got pretty lucky with that one. But, I mean, yeah, I think that was a pretty straightforward round from Tornado. You could see they were very well drilled in. They could have won it multiple ways, so that's always a good indicator that they're playing well. But I think DiNG played it logically, didn't overreact. They looked like they had a plan for that that attack, and maybe they just thought, okay, we're going to try this one. This is our best bet to beat this tactic, and then we're going to have another go on the attack, obviously, when we switch sides. So, I don't know, good first round from both teams. Looked pretty calm. You could see DiNG's faces there, and they didn't look particularly flustered, didn't look particularly worried. And I think that's a good thing, because a lot of teams, when they're at these LAN finals for the first time, those kind of blues come in, they start playing a bit weird, and especially when the pressure starts to mount, when they start to lose 1 or 2 rounds, it can really hurt.
I think if we see more of that tactic, it's going to become more and more of a concessional round as well. Yeah. We say we have to accept that this is going to be very hard to break, and it's a low percentage play that we make to try and break this kind of strat. I mean, it's always been variations on a theme, ladies and gentlemen. It's usually get on the cap, try and tempt the defending team to come and reset. And it's funny because the roles shift. That defending team all of a sudden has to be an attacking side, and you can definitely throw teams off guard. That's why defending teams don't always want to hedge themselves with defensive lineups. You still need to have some, I guess, bite to your bark, as it were, when you need to stop people from getting the cap here. But yeah, I think, you know, DiNG, shaking head going, well, fair enough. I mean, this is pretty rough, pretty tough one to deal with. I mean, with the next map being around the corner as Ruinberg, there might be more concessional rounds that they have to make here and there. As long as they do their homework and they get the job done when it's their time to attack, for example, now on Himmelsdorf, they'll be able to stay in step with Tornado Rocks. They'll be able to stay tit for tat with them in rounds. And we've seen DiNG pull off some pretty decent attacking side Himmelsdorf things as well. It was them, Tornado Rocks, and Kasner. Those 3 do like putting that 110E3 up on the corner. DiNG have always been big on tank destroyer heavy lineups, especially on Himmelsdorf. So I definitely wouldn't count them out yet, not on this map.
The interesting thing as well, I mean, last time these 2 played, it was a different set of maps completely. We saw Ghost Town, for instance, in the first one. We saw Muravanka, and the only map we're going to see when DiNG beat Tornado Rocks in that match day 4 is Ruinberg, which was 1 apiece, so we can't really draw any conclusions from that one. So, yeah, I mean, we get to see complete different maps with the same teams, always shows us a bit of variation and how they kind of react to different stimuli. So, let's see. Next round's on the way. Of course, it's DiNG on the attack this time and Tornado Rocks on the defense.
So, not as tank destroyer heavy their lineup is, I guess, as towards the last round. Just the 110E3, and quite often we see that head up to the hill with a 50B or something that has good rotational potential, can get off there if they need to. Tornado Rocks, though, they're pushing forward, of course. Again, fairly standard up on towards this western side. They're bringing a couple FE215Bs. They've got a 50B in there as well. Waffentrager in the mix, and bringing some tank destroyer meat at least. Luciquel here as well. He'll be pushing forward with the Annihilator, looking towards a hill early as well. If you can spot out that scouting tank and get some early damage, it's always a bonus. Hognick, though, hasn't pushed too far forward here. He's been careful. He's
been careful, and to me, it just looks like that DiNG wants to do pretty much the same thing. The difference is, of course, that they've got the FE215Bs and that standard K-line. So, I mean, it's a bit of a bluff card, I guess, and a bit of damage going towards Stoik at the beginning, quite a lot, actually, bringing him down to one shot in the MX 1390, and also that gun being taken out. The rest of the tanks, though, behind him didn't get spotted, so still not a lot of information for Tornado Rocks here. They still might think that they're on the hill, and the way they're going to play against that tactic would be with the AMX 50Bs, the bat chats, whatever, trying to go around and trying to make the flank. But this is a more standard, like, let's say, beginning, mid to even slightly the end of the season, Himmelsdorf tactic from DiNG.
Now just setting up here as well. You could see Positive's point of view there as he's trying to poke through the little hidey hole towards that G line. And Rakar and Rulsik have actually come forward here trying to take the fight to Luciquil. He's just opted to go on reload. He's not in a hurry. There's a bat chat behind him who's just been lit as Rakar's gone for that second peek. So Luciquil knows he can stay safe for the time being. There's a lot of G-line presence here, actually, for DiNG. They know that they can shoot at positive as well. It's a little bit of an eye of a needle shot to make towards a tank, but you can see they know he's there, and they're going to take their chances of having a crack anyway. You can see exactly where Shockish can see through. I love that we can see this now. It's great. And there's the shots coming in over to Diplomat as well. He's set up in this position now. Ollie, he can fake, he can almost feint that DiNG are going to push using that strat, but he actually takes a hit in the 110 E3.
Yeah, from an IS-3 as well. That's just it's a bit weird. 360 penetration, but 260 penetration goes straight through the front of that tank. Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, good start here for Tornado Rocks. Done a bit of damage to the T110 E3, bit of damage to the IS-3 as well. I think that T110 E3 just gave away a little bit too much of that lower glaciers. And it looks like DiNG are starting to move their way. I mean, there's no way move their way around towards the hill, but there's no reason for Tornado to move out this position. They're on the defensive side, they don't have to do anything. And Stoik has to be careful in this position. I guess, you know, what DiNG has done is that they've cemented these tanks of Tornado Rocks to their left side, and it is a 3 versus 2, I think, or maybe 3 versus 3. So there's a bit of an opportunity up north for DiNG to make a move.
And they may do that. They do have the flexibility of having a 50B on the hill if they want to push forward. But Luciquil comes forward again, goes for the poke, takes the damage. Now, he and the Annihilator probably starting to take more damage than they'd really like, especially with their lack of armor, for lack of another phrase, going into these brawls and fights. They need to be careful. They're supposed to be here to get some free damage. I'll stress that, and to get some information. Right now, they've got information, but they've also taken some damage as well, and they might start to shift towards a more defensive mindset here. But Tornado Rocks is still deciding where they want to make the first punch towards here on the map.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where DiNG wants to do the same. I mean, they've been in these positions for quite a while. You've got the AMX 1390 still on the hill. I'm not sure exactly what's going through their head, where they want to go, what they want to do. They haven't made a move yet, and yeah, they don't look like they want to. I mean, none of them are moving. Oh, that T110 E3 and Stoik are starting to move. Haltnik is now going down the hill as well in that 50B. But it's been pretty static stuff from DiNG, and you know, we've seen this a few times before. A team just at the beginning, but Diplomat takes a huge amount of damage, just a massive chunk just taken off him. I mean, Vorsik getting the better of him clearly at the start here. And of course, you know, Vorsik, if he's hull down, he can just use that HE ammo to punish that T110 E3, but still pretty hard for him to spot him from that position. And yeah, it looks like finally DiNG are starting to make their way over towards that right side, down towards the Banana Row. Mary Torres gets spotted across, and it looks like DiNG, they've taken quite a lot of damage, and they've decided to go forwards before they take more.
Interesting little push here for Meritorious. He's got himself onto the D line, and FC Dynamo now maybe a little bit more nervous about seeing him there. I think Meritorious did take a hit from the middle of the map. He may just want to go and try and cap or challenge that IS-3 in the north, and the Annihilator now has been drawn out of position. He fancies a push towards his little G line here as well. He's going to spot there Shockish, who wasn't ready for him now, and a full click could really, really hurt. He does take a hit. Shockish backs off slightly, and to be fair, so does the Annihilator. He's gained some ground, he's gained more information. With Meritorious having left that FE215B, we see Rakar now having to come up as well and just shore things up on the G line. But again, just little peeks, little pokes from the Annihilator, getting information, but he's getting a little bit low, and he's not going to be able to make too many of those in the future. He's going to reload now, he's going to back away. Shots coming across now as there's a push happening on the 8 line.
Yeah, the Annihilator just definitely the highest damage leader for Tornado Rocks, and a fantastic player. Just above positive by only a few hundred damage in the group stages. Those two really did perform well. And it looks like Mary is starting to go forwards. He's actually going to go into a capping position now. And I think DiNG just try to force Tornado Rocks to go into these more flanking positions. They know they got the MX, the bat chat. So they just try to take down the Annihilator. He's a 2-shot, to be fair, and, you know, Shokish gets into a good position against him. He can easily find him through that gap between the houses. And the MX50B actually up north is starting to push. That's Haltnik going around the corner. And they might just start to collapse on the IS-3, decided to take him out. And to be fair, though, Dido's in the background lurking.
And Vorsen as well, in a position where he can splash some HE onto Haltnik if he has to. And for that reason, captain of DiNG is just taking his time that little bit more. Meritorious has been able to move up as well. There is still time for DiNG to make a push here, but they need to be precise when executing. And Tornado Rocks can actually wrap across, at least from west to east, or even make a flank through the south here. DiNG have absconded from this part of the map. They've left that south. They've got a couple of FE215Bs who would like to get up the 8 line without being spotted here. Armageddon, bit of HE damage. Meritorious obviously loading that up. It's hard to get a clear shot onto that IS-3, but here's a good little push. Rules it comes up. It's a big hit going into the side of that Russian tier 8 heavy. A nice hit, so has tracked him up as well. And the 110E3 is being skirted around the side of for the moment. Armageddon not far from dropping here.
He's going to go down in this next shot, surely, but he's actually going to get collapsed on by Dido, and I don't think he has that much support.
I think the game's going to devolve into a bit of a brawl right now as Dido wants to just bounce the shot, so he does get that one in. He gets it done. Lusquill actually assisting him there as well. Rulzik went down, but Haltnik takes down Dido. 14 seconds left on the cap. Vorsic needs to hit his next shot. He needs to delay this, or at least FC Dynamo needs to come around the corner. But is that going to be possible here? Yes, he does land the shot. He does get the reset, and now at least a chance to breathe for Tornado Rocks here, but DiNG aren't really stopping. They're low on health points, but they're still coming forward.
Yeah, the thing is, DiNG really needs to get behind these corners right now. They're going to get flanked by, of course, the Batchat and the AMX50B of Tornado Rocks. There's I think 2 or 3 tanks now in the cap, so that's the fastest the cap can go down, and they are holding on.
We can see DiNG, they need to get the first shots happening, but the Annihilator comes around a corner. He got tracked up, but he's just going to let go in towards Shock. He should try and give him every shot he has. The Batchat doesn't want to be caught there, but he's still got the kill. Another one coming up for the Annihilator here as well. DiNG, like you said, Oliver, they had to get around those corners. They had to get to safety, but I think it's too little too late.
Yeah, not good enough from DiNG right now. That AMX50B, AMX3090 shouldn't have gone down. And I think Shocky should have also got the kill onto the 50B, and they should have been okay, but a little bit of miscommunication from DiNG, and it's 2 versus 5.
Diplomat is going to be caught here as well. He was the first to take any sort of serious damage, and Tornado Rocks come in with a very solid defense as well, moving in with about 4k hit points. And the high fives are coming out here. These guys definitely not messing about. They said we did lose, of course, earlier in the season to DiNG. The map picks were very much DiNG-sided, I feel, but this time they get Himmelsdorf. They're going to go into Ruhenberg as well with 100% defense rate. Very, very good for Tornado Rocks. A great opening here, and DiNG really needed that round.
Yeah, they were pretty close to winning it, actually. I thought when Dido bounced basically all of his shells against that FE215B, that DiNG had got a massive advantage there. But I think right at the end where we saw the MX50B coming flanking in with the Batchat, they obviously got the kill on Shockish. He probably should have got the kill back. Stoic, though, in the background had pressure from 2 sides. And he tried to play both of them, which of course is not a good idea. You've got to go for one option, otherwise you're going to get killed by 2. He probably went for the wrong one, and the reset came in. But at the end of the day, Tornado Rocks are starting to creep ahead in that situation in terms of hit points. And also at the beginning, I mean, why didn't DiNG just make that play at the start? I mean, I could see they were trying to lure Tornado Rocks into the south of the map, but I mean, at the end of the day, if they didn't lose those 2k hit points right at the start, they could have had a better impact, especially with that T110E3.
Yeah, I think, and it may have been Diplomat as he sort of pushed up towards the mountain, maybe even exposing a weak spot in the lower glacis. That's pretty much the only one on the 110E3. The only way we can really explain an IS-3 managing to penetrate her. But that's the Annihilator as well. We saw him on the flank. That's a heck of a lot of damage for that man as well, really getting it done as he pushed straight through and stopped that cap as well as just picking off those tanks around the corner. Second page, Stoic struggling there in the 3090. Obviously took a lot of damage early on. Meritorious and Rakar as well, those 2 FE215Bs. Got hammered, so did Shockish.
Yeah, Stoic obviously not keeping home fires burning there as a Brit, but I'll let him pass on this one. But interesting, I mean, Himmelsdorf underway, done, 2-0. Going towards Tornado Rocks, and we've got Ruhenberg next. A map which, of course, we saw DiNG win 2-0 against Oops. They were on the attacking side and on the defending side. They won both rounds. Incredible stuff, and that's actually how they managed to qualify for the finals. So I think this is more of a comfort zone pick for right now for DiNG. Yeah, I mean, we have to bear in mind, though, as well, Tornado Rocks have been pretty darn good on this map. In the past, a team who was happy to take Moisen onto this map. Mouses, tier 10s. I don't know, mice. Mice.
Yeah. as long as people understand that. But
Sugar mice.
not this time, though, is DiNG coming in with 4 bat chats, a double IS-7 and a T49. I know exactly what they're going to do with that one, but hopefully they can illustrate my point for me. Double T62A here for Tornado Rocks.
Yeah, interesting pick that they've gone for that hull down tank. Of course, if you're wondering why, I mean, in every other way, the 140 is better, but the T62A has got a better turret. It can bounce more, so that's why the teams like to pick it. Of course, you know, Tornado Rocks, if they're going to go on the attack, they want to be going hull down. If they're on the defense, they can also go hull down in some positions. So it's definitely a good tank to pick. A little bit surprised. I mean, we saw at the beginning of the season on Cliff a lot. Then we didn't really see Cliff for a while. And then we saw it like sporadically on Ruinberg, and that was about it. So yeah, I mean, T62A obviously being favored for the 140, as I said. But yeah, this is where DiNG needs to shine. I mean, they really need to bring out something amazing to win an attack on Ruinberg, full stop. But they really need to bring that scoreline even if they want to continue in this match.
And DiNG have been able to get attacking rounds. Like you said, Oliver, that's kind of the reason they're here in the first place. But Tornado Rocks have been literally impregnable on the defensive side of Ruinberg here. And they look to get their 3rd round as they hold tight, pushing in towards that cityscape. Now, Rulzik here as well. You can see him towards the bottom side of the map. It's quite likely that Stoik will simply just set up to be killed and be used as cover and hull down for Rulzik to get behind and actually control that 0 line. That's a very, very, very important part of this map. If you haven't seen us talk about it, I always rave about it. As an attacking team, you must control that 0 line. You must be able to be there and stop the enemy team, the defending team, from pushing across that road, getting shots on the cap.
A nice little blind shot there for Nessie Dynamo onto Stoik. But yeah, we saw in the actual pre-game interview with DiNG, they talked about the T49 a little bit, and we were like, they just suicide the T49. They don't actually use it for anything.
He's like, stock turret, stock gun is great. I'm like, Rakar, you literally just use it as a piece of scenery, bro.
Exactly. I mean, it's 10 out of 10. It's like Penta pre-game interviews. They're always scenery because they're always dead. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I've got you, Dead Zone. It's all good, boy. Yeah, but Stoik just playing around a bit. And obviously the problem with that T49, it's a fairly large tank and you can get spotted easily. Obviously, a lot of teams like to use the MX-39-2 or IS-7 just for that assault. And it's going to sit in the cap. Let's see how long it can survive. Of course, an interesting start here for DiNG. They are sitting all on the D line, probably expecting like the RE251 or T62A to come flanking, or at least trying to pull Tornado Rocks to that T49 with the FE215B, so then can go for that northern cap.
Oh, that's quite nice. It's a bait, and Stoik is now setting it up. Now, he doesn't really have any camo net on him, so he will be spotted if they get close enough. Got a wet ammo rack there, interestingly enough, as well as the coated optics. So we can see at least he backs away as well. That was supposed to be the bait. Now, how did Tornado Rocks recover? Do they just back up? I think they might. Pretty clear to see that this was an attempted bait. Vorsic going to be in the north here, and here they come. They're going to push forward. They've caught Vorsic out in the open, but who's in the open? DiNG as well. Hulkney taking a lot of hits here. He's tracked up. Diplomat and Meritorious trying to skip across there towards the buildings. The safety of that cover is going to be very, very important. But Meritorious now is going to be the subject of consternation. He's down to a one-shot, and Diplomat is also going to try and push up. DiNG have lost 2 bat chats already trying to get to the north. Vorsen held strong, then on the move, the bat chats just weren't sharp enough.
That was just bad execution there for DiNG. They only needed to lose Hulknick actually in that position because Merry could have been faster up north. I think he stopped or slowed down to try and get shots against the T62A. But Hulknick just stopped. Diplomat rammed him, and it was just like a bit of a traffic jam. So bad execution for DiNG at the start. And that's put them behind by a lot.
And now Tornado Rocks just want to push in for the win. Diplomat is low, he's lost his gunner. Shockish is tracked up around the corner. Tornado Rocks definitely coming into this fight with a stronger arsenal. And there's a couple IS-7s with Stoik sitting in the back, but even the IS-7 can't stand up to the rage and the fury that Tornado Rocks are bringing towards his cap point. Stoik, all he can do is get the cute little stock turret firing, and Rakara's going to be circled here. Tornado Rocks, there's no doubt about it, they're here to play, and they have dashed this strategy of DiNG like waves upon rock.
Yeah, bad stuff from DiNG. I think, again, tactic was probably solid. I mean, they got themselves like a solid 20 seconds or something to do something. But at the end of the day, I mean, the execution was bad. Losing 2 bat chats is just too much, specifically when you got a T62A sitting up there, up north for Tornado Rocks, hull down and able to shoot towards that cap. And yeah, bad start from DiNG, really, like a 3-0. I mean, of course, they can stabilize on the defense now, but and we've seen a lot of comebacks from 3-1s, but it's still going to be a hard game. I mean, DiNG really need to start to execute better. And after a round like this one, where you could have potentially won, you can see the mistakes. It's hard to recover.
And the reason why DiNG beat Tornado Rocks back in match day number 4, should I say, is they won both rounds on this, and they won Mines, which is the next map, which is interesting because DiNG only have a 38% win rate on Mines in general. So I don't know, Oliver, it's looking pretty grim. I think DiNG were hoping that this would be a bit of a pocket pick for them and they could actually take rounds away from Tornado Rocks. But it looks like, in fact, I'm almost certain Tornado Rocks' 100% record is going to remain intact on the defensive side of Ruinberg here. It's just Rulzik, a couple kills from him. A Positive's going to come barreling around the corner at him as well. And it's going to be fairly simple stuff to get rid of that bat chat.
Yeah, not going to be hard at all. He's just going to get the next shot and didn't go for the ram. Actually got a little bit of damage from Didal. Classic Didal. But it's going to be game over. Didal is able to find that last shot in the T62A, making it 3-0 to Tornado Rocks, obviously winning that defensive side on Ruinberg.
Business as usual for Tornado Rocks. Look at them, cool, calm, collected, and confident. Again, guys were like, is that over already? Okay, no worries. That's keeping it under wraps here as well. Whereas DiNG, now the wry smile almost touched the lips of Holtnik there as he, you know, had to recount their last outing, and things are very, very different this time. A team came in confident, so confident that Rakar was obviously dropping the mic there on his last line in the interview. But so far, things haven't exactly lived up to the expectations that...
Mr. Rich.
Mr. Makar.
Mr. Makar.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I walked past him yesterday. I was getting a drink, and he's like, Mr. Itch. I knew straight away who was talking to me. So, yeah, I mean, funny bunch of guys, actually. I think that Holtnik might have to break out Sultans of Swing by Dire Straits and sing that one. I heard that's a song the boys like to listen to. So, in his perfect English, which is actually incredibly good, by the way. Yeah. Old mate, so...
It's interesting, though. I mean, like, Vorsic, who's the guy you can see on your left there, with the quiff, next to the guy with the hat is Dido, of course, on the right. He's like one of the main corners for Tornado now. I remember when he was playing, I think, one of the Russian teams, I think one of the Unities, Hellraisers, whatever. He was obviously a very good player, like a star player, standout player. I think he got removed from the team because there was some like internal issues with the team they obviously didn't feel comfortable having in there. He went over to Wombats, got removed from Wombats after they lost the season 4 finals. And then
they blamed him quite heavily.
Blamed him because he went suicide in the middle of a cliff, died, and now he's on Tornado. But he's never been in a position of responsibility, and now he is, and his team's winning everything. So I don't know if the joke's on every other team, but Vorsic's doing well.
You can see the Vorsic doesn't exactly have to get massive damage across the line. Rulzik did well, but of course a lot of that damage didn't really account to much in the end. The 62A of Vorsic was in a pretty pivotal position, literally a pivot for his team actually in the north, and he managed to sustain through a lot of the damage coming his way. And the hat still remains here, Oliver. Is that Luciquel? Yes, he's just keeping the sun out of his eyes in the studio, of course. It's quite bright. Quad E100 for DiNG. This is, I mean, this is big for them. They really need to come out. I mean, it's kind of stating the obvious saying they need to win this round. It's interesting to see the CDC here for Tornado Rocks. We've seen it a couple times, Oliver. Sometimes, again, just used to be a hull down piece after it gets blown up.
Yeah, exactly. It's a piece of scenery in a lot of respects, but it's also really fast, so it can get into those positions pretty quickly. It can do some damage, no problem at all, decent penetration. So let's see how they use it. I mean, Tornado, to me, with that lineup, looks like they want to put the I-7s towards the south, maybe even in the cap, have some sort of flanking maneuver with the bat chats, not go for that zero line, and you have, you know, you always have one FE, 2 on 5P anyway. So both these teams going for a faster lineup when they're on the attacking side, both of them trying to probably use some sort of flanking maneuver later on.
Yeah, the Quad E100s, DiNG just does not want to be moved right now. And speaking of moving, they need to get in position fairly early. Tornado Rocks are coming out with a very sprightly lineup. The triple bat chat here as well. And look at them get across here as well. This E100 still getting in position. Dynamo, that does take a bit of a jarring hit there to the side of his bat chat as he crosses towards the cap. And they're going to start this fairly quickly. Now, Stoik is close by on the 251, and he's got the Annihilator lit here. Maybe no one can fire at them right now. Actually, Stoik is actually going to fire. Hopefully he stays alive. He'll back around the corner here. An early reset comes in. Maybe not super important, but everyone moving up. And Tornado Rocks to get the CDC in position as well. Rakar got tracked up. He's slowed up quite a lot, but Positive just got smacked for a lot of damage.
He took a lot of damage there, and the CDC's so quick to scamper up. And yeah, these E100s are great hull down. If you angle your turret, you can actually be pretty effective in these situations. You don't have to peek that much over the middle row because, of course, they are taller, but you've got a good position there on the FE215B as FC Dynamo goes down to a one-shot, and Tornado Rocks are just taking an absolute beating.
Yep, DiNG are going to come forward. They got the E100s. They're big, they're bad, they're bustling, and they hit hard, and they just want to brawl it out here. But Shockish surrounded on a few sides here. We can see the Batchats up on the cap, but just taking their time because the IS-7 combo Armageddon and Vorson, they managed to dispatch of Shockish, but Meritorious is always going to be there. He's looking healthy as well, a shot into Armageddon. But this cap is still going. There's no Stoik left in the city to get resets, and there's Diplomat as well in the Waffentrager E100. He's come straight through from the middle, getting great side shots, but there's got to be a reset in the next couple seconds, and Tornado Rocks are keeping themselves out of arm's reach. No way! They've managed to get the cap. DiNG weren't able to get the reset. There was no one there to spot, and Tornado Rocks are going to take the round away. What?
4-0 to Tornado Rocks on the season finals. I mean, what is this right now? I mean, DiNG had Rulzik, and they had, well, who was that? I think Holtnik coming off the Eastern Village with the MX-50B, both on almost full HP, and they were so late to the party. They got the timing so wrong. I mean, like, what is that, 3, 4, 5 seconds before they would have been able to get the reset?
Oh,
I mean, this
God.
is just bad right now from DiNG. I mean, you can see this is like Cancer Crew at the beginning when they first started to turn up at LAN finals.
Yep.
They just got absolutely wrecked in the first
Got
round.
pasted across the walls, and yeah. I mean, I think now this is the tilt. A DiNG tilting harder than a children's spinning top right now after that one. That's the one round you should not be losing, and somehow against the odds, DiNG have messed it up. They were supposed to win their attacking round. They were supposed to win their defensive round, but nothing is going as planned. And match point comes up after a very, very quick Ruenberg. You can see the replay here. Diplomat doing his darndest to try and do damage, but there was nothing happening on the cap. Look at these fast-moving tanks.
Why is there one on the cap?
No, look, they're lit. But Rulzik just come off reload. Holknik was too slow. He didn't have a good firing position. Tornado Rocks had the capping tanks, but they shifted them. They didn't just sit them there.
Yeah, he was so focused on trying to kill, I think, FC Dynamo in the bat shot that he completely forgot he had to actually get the reset on the cap. And, you know, it wasn't even close. It wasn't like the shot from Holtnik or Rulzik was, let's say, a half a second away from getting to its mark and actually getting the reset. It was 3, 4, 5 seconds away. And that's just, you know, that's a sign of just a team that's really languishing right now. And it's 4-0. It's the best of 9, of course, so it's first to 5. And one more round separates Tornado Rocks from the finals. Of course, the first team that goes through will be, you know, play in the finals in the best of 13. Of course, we've got the next match coming up after this one. And right now, that's only 48 minutes since we started. So
I can
didn't expect it.
I can always see the facial muscles of Tornado Rocks tightening as they try not to smirk on camera here as well, because this is a lot easier than they thought it would be. They pegged this to be the grudge match. They're possibly, well, their first hurdle, but one of the biggest ones here in our season finals, and it looks like it's just going to be a sweep aside. Mines is the next map. Mines, the 38% win rate map for DiNG. They've had some pretty uninspired strategies on this one. If you remember, it used to be, I think Makar would sit in an RU-251, they'd sit an IS-7 behind it and hope to cap on the western side just on the back of that.
Yep.
But then artillery came in. Then DiNG started losing round after round and didn't adapt. And now, this is their last hope. They're hanging on that edge of a cliff by just their fingertips, and they've got to make something happen here on Mines.
I kind of expected like DiNG to come out and just wreck Tornado Rocks like Penta Sports did last time in these in this similar match, in a similar situation. And that's not happened. You can see Tornado Rocks has matured as a lineup and matured as teams at LAN finals. And yeah, I mean, I think DiNG should theoretically be able to at least put one round on the board. I mean, you could see Diplomat still smiling, as they said in the pre-game interview. He is the motivator for the team. But I mean, if I was DiNG, I don't know what kind of motivation. I would be thinking about sitting on a beach somewhere in the Bahamas and not in the studio.
I'd be saying we need to get through Mines. Steps is good map for DiNG. Definitely be feeling strong in it, but no international, no win, maybe.
Yeah, no, but I mean, he's the second lowest damage dealer who plays tier 10s. Shockish is the lowest damage dealer for DiNG, and then it's international. So maybe, I mean, international, having that experience, playing in Red Grab, playing a lot of the teams, playing Red Rush Team 3, could have a big effect. And, you know, we have seen that kind of thing happen before. I mean, we saw, for instance, Tornado Rocks having to bring one of their substitutes in last time. It went horribly well, but positive. Starting off perfectly with a kill on Lorraine. And where was that Lorraine, by the way?
He was sitting on the western side at E1 and got lit simply by the
Did it get lit?
E50Ms. Yes, simply by the E50Ms. I have to assume so.
No, because we've seen a lot of blind shots towards that position at the beginning. Because we've seen, for instance...
You can see the smoke.
Yeah. We see Wombats, for instance, getting the kill on those tanks, on the artillery over there.
Blind shots.
Because, for instance, Wombats managed to get shots into the side here. Blind shots at the beginning to make sure the artillery isn't there, and you can play on through. And you can see that DiNG is just languishing. They're not playing well.
If that's blind shots, which it may well be, he died so quickly we couldn't tell. He was two-shot by both E50M. Sat back here, pretty unlikely he gets spotted from that kind of distance, but it's a fairly commonly used alcove, I suppose. And man, how do you come back from that, really?
I mean, it's not even like a blind shot you have to risk to be able to make, right? You just start at the beginning, say, okay, everyone, we're going to shoot over there. If we kill something, probably, that's great. If we don't, I mean, who cares? We don't lose anything for it. So you could see Tornado Rocks start off well, and Armageddon trying to make the shots in the artillery piece. And yeah, I mean, that's really taking the poison out of the arrow for DiNG. They can't really go forwards because they can't do damage to Diodor and Vorsic.
Vorsen, Diodor, Luciquel, FC Dynamo have all taken a little bit of damage here, but at the cost of their artillery. DiNG have to be just shaking their heads in dismay here. They've got a couple TVPs to work with, double 113 up on the hill, so not stacking them like we're seeing some teams do on mines. DiNG definitely have to come back from a deficit here. Don't look at the health points. That's not what's important. It's lacking that artillery, which really hamstrings you tactically in a big way. You now no longer really have good control over that hill. That was the whole reason why the Lorraine was used and moved towards the island. It's fast. It's a good vantage point. It can really punish teams that just sit there. It was just read into so beautifully by Tornado Rocks. And yeah, like you said, Oliver, not a risky blind shot to make, but one they took anyway because they were prepared for DiNG.
And DiNG obviously on the attack, so they have to kill or cap against Tornado Rocks. You can see actually the Batchat's now making its way over, and immediately the Armageddon just starts to aim towards it. Mary didn't receive too much damage, so that's good. And Positive did, because of course that E50M, not particularly well camo, is going to get spotted pretty easily. And DiNG is starting to work their way into this game. 2k HP ahead, great stuff in the Armageddon. Perfect play from him, judging the artillery shells so well, waiting for it. And now Mary's a one-shot.
Perfect stuff. I mean, he knew Mary would be coming, but it was at the exact moment that Mary just inched forward that he laid the shot down. Positive, though, is suffering a little bit. He has been spotted and is probably remaining as such. Meritorious now can't do a heck of a lot. A one shot to any tank on the map at this stage on the side of Tornado Rocks. Has to be super, super careful. And he's being fired at as well. He's being blinking in and out of vision here for Tornado. So they know he's there. They're keeping tabs on him. I think Armageddon will just be keeping his cursor over that point as well. Yeah. Once he has that reload, Meritorious has to move, but to where?
Armageddon should just shoot now, I think. Oh, there's actually a bit of an engagement going up towards the right side. He was aiming towards there. And, DiNG is starting to lose a lot of HP here, but Tornado Rocks really starting to do some damage, or trying to do damage towards Shockish, but they receive more instead. And DiNG, playing defensively, and Tornado Rocks being a bit cocky at this point in time, it's starting to punish them. And yeah, they need to rely on the Armageddon again to try and bring them back.
He has an angle at least up on this hill to try and deal with that, what I believe was a TVP. It was. Shot comes in, beautiful stuff from Armageddon. Shockish hits the deck, and Tornado Rocks. That's perfect now. 2 tanks off the map. That artillery, you can see how much a difference it makes. Vorsano's taking a bit of damage, but Tornado Rocks now can slow the pace down and take control of the map.
But this is not a DiNG we see making these kind of mistakes. I mean, Shockish wasn't just spotted, he was respotted. So he got the lamp up, he knew he spotted, Sixth Sense activated, but he still stayed there. He stayed in that position, and he got absolutely wrecked by the Armageddon. That's an easy shot. The Armageddon's not even in an unusual position down in towards K5. And yeah, I mean, DiNG, despite the fact that they actually were winning this game, and to be honest, they're still in it, just somehow managed to try and give the game away towards Tornado Rocks, or at least get close to.
Insane. Tornado Rocks, to be fair, sustaining quite a lot of damage up on the hill here. You can see that Makar definitely winning out in the peak battle, as well as the 113 sitting back. I dare say he's been able to get involved. The Annihilator here in the TVP fancied himself perhaps a bit of a flank, but now he's backing up towards the rest of his team. And Hogdick spraying shots left, right, and center like a water sprinkler as FC Dynamo gets himself up on towards that island safely. And Hogdick has to back off and reload.
Oh man, this is so brutal right now. Tornado Rocks just, you can see they're under pressure, and they're still playing logically and well. They're getting the advantage in certain situations, and they're making sure they can take care of the tank, which they know they can kill easily. And they've received a lot of damage, but they've still got all their guns in the game, and they've still got their artillery, so they can still play standoff if they want. And of course, being on that defensive side, they don't have to do anything. They are playing aggressively because they know they're ahead. And I think, it's... Sorry to say, DiNG fans, but it's a matter of time right now, I think. It's starting to really run away from them.
Even Diodor now as well, wanting to move up and close the net a little bit. Good shot from Vorsen on the hill. Stoik does take that one to the chin, and one from the side as well. He has been counted out as FC Dynamo's moving up here. Gets the spots, gets the damage. Stoik tracked up and taken down. Tornado Rocks, clinical precision coming in. It's like a surgeon's scalpel. They're just carving off tanks from DiNG like pieces of meat at the local Derner shop. 3 left here for DiNG, and they're not looking too healthy.
No, they're good. They're down right now. 5,000, 6,700 HP, 3 tanks versus 7. Everyone's still alive for Tornado Rocks, and they are starting to go forwards. Mrakar, I mean, he's been fantastic this round. The only one for DiNG who's really performed. He's the reason why Tornado Rocks is even slightly close to the HP of his team. So, yeah, I mean, 113 as well of Rulesek in the background. You got the TVP off the side of Haltnik. And to be honest, I mean, maybe apart from Diplomat, the best players of DiNG remain in this match. All the rest have been taken down pretty easily.
And as a 3v7, if those odds aren't enough to make you shake your head for DiNG, then maybe the next few seconds will, as they're going to push forward. And now Tornado Rocks, they start to get that chokehold and pull it a little bit tighter. Vorsen going to descend from above up towards Mrakar. Going to try and block his shots as well. Keep him a little bit busy for the moment here. But even Vorsen, he's got bigger things to deal with than Mrakar. He's going to go down. It's Rulesek and Haltnik. And Rulesek sitting right up the back. He's got the spots, but he is also lit. And it's only a matter of time, like you said, until those 2 TVPs leap upon him and start pumping him full of lead. Here it comes, and it's going to hurt as well. Critical hit as well. Wasn't quite a direct one, but the Annihilator just going to lay into Rulesek here. There's a TVP of FC Dynamo coming around. It's as easy as that. And oh my lord, it's a very, very scary Tornado Rocks that we are seeing today. Look at them close this one out in style.
I would just have that sick feeling if I was DiNG right now in your stomach when you know you've lost something really important and you don't really know what to do about it. It's going to be the Annihilator to finish off Rulesek, and a 5-0 scoreline in favor of Tornado Rocks to finish our first match.
It looked like they just rolled out of bed as well. I don't know how much passion they really had to invest in getting this win, and that's kind of a sad side for DiNG here as well, who really weren't able to offer any resistance, whereas online they were absolutely dominant against this Tornado Rocks team. But now you can see they'll get to their feet, they'll shake hands, and there'll be ashen, crestfallen faces of DiNG here as well, as they realize that they have just absolutely sconced this one. Not even 1 round picked up.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the LAN final equation. I think if it was on, online, it would have been a different kind of game. I think DiNG might have been able to put up a better fight. And I think probably after the first 2 rounds on Himmelsdorf, I mean, especially that second round on the attack where DiNG had a pretty good idea. Like, that's probably where it started to go wrong. And of course, Ruenberg just started to go even worse, especially when they're on the defensive side and they lost to pretty dire circumstances, not being able to get that reset. I feel sorry for DiNG. I mean, it's pretty typical that, your first offline performance isn't great, but come on. I mean, this was complete whitewash.
Yeah. And that right there was pretty anecdotal, I think.
What was he waiting for there?
I don't know.
He's lit. He was lit. He knew he was lit. I mean, he was trying to get shots against positive. Maybe thought the Armageddon was still on reload, but
I don't know. Yeah, as I said, quite a good metaphor for how this has gone for DiNG as well. It's almost as if annihilation is coming. It's inexorable. There's nothing you can do about it. And it's almost as if that TVP just let it happen. He knew that there was an artillery in the back corner of the map. He knew that he was visible to them as well. Just unfortunate. And this is a lack of experience as well, Ollie. This team, obviously, ended 3rd this season, but it never come to a final. We were excited at the prospect of seeing them here, but it's a jungle out here, Oliver. It really is, especially when these teams are fighting tooth and nail to be the best in Europe. And Armageddon with a big 2.5k damage, very nice.
Haltnik at least has one good round here. Fantastic work from him in the TVP, and yeah, I mean, again, Strike at the bottom of that T110E5. We talked about that a little bit in the game. Would have International made a big difference? I don't know. Obviously, not only does a player have an impact in terms of his skill, how much damage he can do, but he also has an impact on the kind of tactics, the morale, the synergy of the team, all those kind of things as well. So we'll never know. As I said, Tornado Rocks, they were in the same situation against Penta last season in Season 1 when they lost against Penta Sports, I think like 5-2, 5-1.
Yeah.
And yeah, that kind of showed us, okay, so they have great players, but maybe that one made all the difference.
And it's clear to see as well that Tornado Rocks bringing a sense of grim resolve here to the Season 2 finals. They got knocked out, and it's safe to say they were quite embarrassed by Penta last season, of course, with their special tactics coming in. But you can see now you know, we talk about DiNG where they fell short here as well. Tactically, maybe wasn't great, but you can see the Tornado Rocks read them like a book. In fact, easier than that, they read them like a comic book, mate. That's the one you just put your feet up and just scan over the
just a picture
panels.
book, the kind Luke Nella uses, really. Like we're reading some words. Luke's got the picture books out, but not even that. I don't think even the tactics are the problem. Like, where was the individual plays? Like, the most basic individual plays weren't there for DiNG. They weren't hitting their shots. They weren't aiming in the right direction. They weren't in the right positions. So I mean, like, they were just intrinsically not well suited in this finals, and they didn't show up in basically any respect.
It takes a lot of practice to come out of your shell and become a land dragon, and it's clear to see that Tornado Rocks have that in spades. That's all for us for now. We're going to pass it over to our expert desk to put this one, gentlemen, and Melly, under the microscope.
Well, I think the case is they may have dropped the microphone, but they dropped the ball. They did not do that as they should. Guys, let's take it from the beginning. It didn't start well, it didn't end well, but let's go one by one. Map number one, the first thing I can say is that it looked like Dido was going to mess it up. He had those 3 bounces, and I just want to open with that. It's like, oh no, he's messed up. The chat was like, oh no, Dido, I'm missing 3 shots. Is he even playing? But they won anyway.
It's like a star player doing something that he should do with his eyes closed, and he flipped it 2 meters, I think 2 meters away, not to pen with VT. I never saw it, especially not from a guy like that. Never seen it.
They've already had such a huge advantage that eventually it did not matter. He had support behind it. He managed to eventually kill him, but he died. Well, but they won the round eventually.
It wasn't even him who killed him.
No, there was a FV behind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dido shot all he had and was like, whoops.
It was crazy. I was looking at it like that, and I was writing down like the note. Here we have it here. So take us through it.
So here we have a good move by DiNG. They are killing the Ice 3 who can rest their cap. That's all fine, but they're not covering this guy at all. So Dido just comes and says, "Oh, hello, boy. I'm gonna end you up." And this is embarrassing.
Yeah, the 3 bounces in a row, like, you expect him to penetrate at least once, and then eventually he gets killed by the 50B, actually. And then DiNG are, like, in a really bad position. They're in a crossfire, they're getting surrounded, the E3's in the window, and they just took the round.
He had Annihilator who did in a butt shot on a city map Himmelsdorf 4.5k damage. I want to say more. Like, the guy even came from their back, and he has a steady hand, we know that. He was like, boop, 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 you're dead, I'm gone, see ya.
And that was the first map. The second game actually. The first game went just as bad. Do you guys even remember what went wrong in that game for DiNG? Because I didn't write down any highlights from the first map. Yeah.
First game, I really was surprised by a pick from Tornado. They had 3 TDs, like FV, which he's bigger than a house and he has no armor, and E3, which is a normal heal play, that's fine, and VT. And they had a really offensive shootout play, like FV heavies. Now, what people don't know at homes, FVs maybe are soft by armor, but their guns are laser precise. And the tanks that are used here even more, because as we know, these accounts that are given by Wargaming to these people have every possible crew skill unlocked. Everything that exists, plus you have rations and so on. So that gun is one of 2 most accurate in the game, I think, and reloads every 7 seconds. That's why it's so much used on Himmelsdorf. And they just pressed the top line, and DiNG just gave them the map away completely. They played so passive, and then they tried counterattack against people who were trenched up, capping, positioned, trained to shoot, and they shoot to kill, definitely.
Yeah, they were not prepared for it. They had no one to decap the north side of the cap. They had only FVs, Conqueror, T10, and they just...
It looked like a bad training room where you would like, okay, let's try this different again. But there is no again. It's over. You're playing next roll.
Yeah, next round, straight.
So let's look at map number 2. So map number 2, we had Ruinsburg. And the thing I remember here is the bat chat. Okay, they took out 4 bat chats. We're like, okay, they're going for a cap tactic. And it went horribly wrong. 2 of the tanks got caught in the open. Explain that formation.
I really liked. I was expecting something spicy like that from them in this game. So they were baiting the south cap with 49 Abacha to show themselves. And they prepared the entire force to push on the north. That was fine. Tornado did not fall for it at all. They had all single constant shooters, 62As that shoot like 5 seconds with skills we explained, and FVs. And when they started to push, Hulnik really did a rookie mistake. He did a short route over the cap and really close to them. he was basically checked, stopped, killed, instant. And that was already game over. Because they never showed enough force on the south, so Tornado already knew, oh, they're coming up. Okay, let's turn the game. So after that, it was just execution of their team. When they went in reload, they had 4 clippers, 4 butt shots. After they bounced half of the shells, they just came in and wiped them out completely. Like, we should really see that moment. It's really
Yeah, actually, it's one of those situations where as they cross across, just a crossfire, I think it was the second guy was Notorious. He got tracked and...
Died as well, yeah.
Yeah, so both of them got wiped out straight away for nothing. Now, you actually have a replay base for the second game on Ruinberg, don't you?
No, I think it's the first one when the Hulnik dies.
Oh, it's the full one. So there we go. Let's take it through then on your computer as you want to explain exactly what happened in that moment. Take it through for the audience.
So they set up a trap. They played it really smart in the beginning. They tried to trap Tornado by going south with a T-49 and a bad jet, hoping that they would fall for it.
This is a classic opening, and if DiNG saw them do this, they would presume they're going for the 2-cap.
Yeah, and here you can see T-49. I don't know, I think he got blind shotted even. And he gets out, Badget goes back. They're still waiting, hoping that maybe someone rotates through the town to catch someone out.
And mate, here we go. Here comes the cap. Here comes the push from the north side. But as far as you can see, they're totally not falling for it, and their tanks are not even moving toward them. They don't care. They're just rotating closely. They see the cap is really slow, and they see they're not spotting any of the tanks advanced. So that's why they sent only Lusik in route to check out what's actually going on.
Yeah, and they just got spotted like instantly. It's D6A still on the north. Everybody from Tornado Rocks is able to shoot this crossing. Here you can see Doknik, Diplomat, they're moving up. But Vorsen sees it, he reacts to it, he tracks Hoknik, Diplomat like rams
Look
him.
at this, he even stopped at one moment.
Diplomat's like invincible. He should be dead, but all the shots just fly over his head.
They should have driven up north on the red line, take over the area on A7. Like even people from Clan War know that you should mind your health there. Take out Vorsin if they're lucky and stay there so they can shoot the other guys. But they lost everything there. It's like, sorry, but it was like shooting ducks.
Yeah, it was a bad move. And that was a good plan, executed poorly. I think that's the best way we can actually explain all of DiNG's mistakes. And as we move into the third map, so we have mines. Actually, sorry, the second game on Ruinsberg was the reset. They just didn't move, did they?
It was actually, we were worried because they had really static defense with a lot of E100s and so on. But Tornado Rocks had really light setup, and they really went for a fast cap, because when you take a CDC, it's pretty known Khaleesi, you're going there. And it was all good. The HP advantage was like more times on DiNG side, and then when I think, who were they?
Oh, here it is.
Rulzik,
yeah.
Rulzik, I think, when he went from the north and Holnik, they didn't rest. They started to go too slow, and they just failed.
Yeah, well, most of Tornado Rocks was spotted in the FV in the middle. Like 6 of the tanks are spotted, only 1 tank is missing. E100 had still a lot of HP on the 0 line, and he just stayed. He stayed too long, and that eventually managed to lose them the game. They were going to win it if they would have decapped it. They were surrounding them, but they just made a mistake too much here.
Yeah, don't miss that moment here as the Waffenträger comes around the corner and does take out that FV. So he was doing it, but it's too little too late.
But that FV is not even the question anymore. At this moment, it's only the cap. It's all about the cap. It's about Rulzik, who's reloading, and Halnik. But they should have already been on the way, far in. This was just pure gift to Tornado. Okay, why should we come back in a game? You can just roll us over.
Yeah, Melly at this point was completely shocked. It like, oh no, it's gonna be 5-0. I know it.
I couldn't tweet that fast, to be honest. Usually people, for everyone that just, newly tuned in and haven't experienced one of our season shows, we have a live ticker at WGLEU over on Twitter. And I usually tweet after every round, but those rounds flew by. I could barely manage to send out like 2 tweets a match. It was crazy. And I felt so bad because they were so confident and so looking forward to that match. Like, yeah, we'll do it again. We'll take them down again. We know it and all. And it
It
didn't
is
work.
no.
No, definitely not. Not even close. And that's pretty much what the audience at home didn't expect at first. I mean, we have our team voting ending on 79% in favor of Tornado Rocks, which is a very solid number. And of course, the predictions, they were always around the 5-3, 5-0, 5-1 predictions, also 5-4s. But when we come further to the end, like throughout the match, it got 5-0, okay, 5-1, 5-2 maybe, but 5-0, 5-0, 5-0, 5-0, 5-0. So at the end, we have like 75 people guessing a 5-0 ending.
Guessing.
Yes. I mean, it was closed after the fourth round. So, yes, people, some of you got it correct. So we will definitely find 15 lucky bonus code winners. The next team vote will be up in a few minutes. So stay tuned on our Facebook page, facebook.com/WGLEU. And that's where you can also find our sweepstake, where you can predict the Season 2 champions. I mean, we still have a few games left. The vote will obviously close before the overall finals, but we have a semi-final left. And so get involved. Tell us who's pretty much going to win this season. Well, it's a tiny hint from my side. It's not going to be DiNG. And yes, and of course, we have our raffle. I mean, we have a lot of stuff to actually promote. So we also have...
We have the offline event. We have people here who are in the studio are going to actually have some chances themselves. We have some raffles here live in the studio. So if you're in the area, you have a way to get down to the studio here in Cologne, you will be able to have a chance to win things too. However, things aren't quite over. I took a little break there deliberately because the next map is a story of your favorite vehicle in the game, and that's of artillery. As we head to the third map to discuss mines, and oh my God, it was about 3 things. First, the death of the first artillery, and then the play of the other artillery. So this was a map of artillery. Take me through it.
The spot that already passed, Diplomat was spotted going to the island because of very default play they used. And it was even seen in a link because Wombats killed someone like that. And that practically ended up the match right there and then. But to add some more salt to the story, came Armageddon with his Uber shot. Mary peeked here and got shaved off clean. Like he remained on 200 HP. And right after that, we could see the moment, glorious moment where his brother TVP on the island.
Yeah, Shokish was positioned on the island, like shooting him in the side.
And here it is.
He knew where he was and he was just waiting. Oh, you're gonna peek, little birdie.
And pop.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, I think this is a moment of frustration. Anyone at home can definitely feel that time where you go, okay, I'm done. Old F4, that's it, I'm done. Yep. That's not good. But in this moment, he should have known better. Absolutely. You knew where the artillery was. You knew this position. At this level, there's no reason for that play.
The main problem is, since their arty was gone, Mines is really hard map now to play without it. Their options were so limited. I think they were completely without any kind of counter plan if that happens.
They were just yeah, they were stuck.
Like we could see even later when they had the E5 at the corner, we could see how dirty that tank TVP is when he shot him in the back and he clipped him and he couldn't move. Like he was just sitting there and he was just gone. Like it was really execution. But to say overall, they still had a good season and they're still a new team and this is their first LAN. So it's hard experience. Everyone has to go through it to be better if they stay together next season.
Well, for those curious at home for how the stats of that game went, let's have a quick look at the damage overall. These stats don't really give away too much because, well, every player is playing different tanks across the maps, and it's really just shows you that it was actually not as far different than it could have been. Considering this was a 5-0, there's still DiNG guys up there. But for the guys who love the stats, there they are. Really, as we move on, we have to start thinking ahead because that was an appalling performance by DiNG and an amazing performance from Tornado Rocks. So Tornado Rocks need an opponent. And before we go into that, let's one last time talk about what you guys need to do, because we need to know who you're going to think out of the next battle, which is, I think, some people's favorites, Kazna Crew versus Wombats on tank. Now, these guys, statistically, Wombats have the edge, but from popularity, melee, Kazna crew.
Yes, I mean, Kazna crew, huge community darling and a very well-known team as Wombats on Tanks. So I think the next semi is going to be big. So people, get involved. Head over to our Facebook page to vote. As said, as promised, will be up in a few minutes. But in the meantime, you can participate in our prediction sweepstake where you can win one of 5 G203 Logitech gaming headsets. And also, WGL.GG/raffle is your place to go, your raffle to definitely participate in. And yes, we have a lot of stuff for the online audience, as already said and mentioned before. We do have something for offline audience as well. People in the arena, you can find a ballot box where you can simply predict the matchup of this finals by simply writing on a piece of paper, like really manually and old school, putting it in the ballot box. Don't forget to write your name and email on it, of course, and we will draw it live on air before the match, so people get involved. And the other way of getting involved is drawing a cheerful to support your favorite team. We have pens, pencils, papers, everything. Line out. Help yourself, because well, actually taking part is definitely worth it, because for the cheerful contest, we will be giving out a Type 59 for the best cheerful on site. And of course, every participant gets a bonus code, like just for the sake of trying, let's say it that way. But as said, the best cheerful, well, voted by me, because I'm the jury, will win a Type 59. So get your pens, get your papers, and draw something nice to support your favorite team. And of course, the ballot box, 2 Type 62s and 15 bonus codes on the line. Predict the final matchup, get it right, throw it in there, and well, throwing in like 20 with your name doesn't work, because we will have a pre-selection for the drawing. But yes, that's pretty much how you can get involved. And as I said, stay tuned on our social media pages, facebook.com/WGLEU, and Twitter, of course. It's always /WGLEU. And of course, our YouTube channel, where you can find the VODs of today's matches tomorrow.
There you go. Now you know where everything is. You guys live on the chat and everyone here in the studio. This is really... Sorry?
Yeah, I forgot something. Sorry to interrupt you there, because the first hour of our show is over. That means we have our first 5,000 gold winner in Twitch chat. Because as you might know, we're rewarding exceptional behavior in Twitch chat. So be nice to your fellow Twitch chatters, help them out, and yeah, keep a nice tone. And you might be the next one, the next lucky one,
Bling,
winning
bling.
5,000 gold. Yes. This time it's Hayram. Congratulations.
Hey.
I probably butchered that name because it's HJREM. So congratulations, buddy. 5,000 gold for you. Send us a private message and we will deal with everything.
All right, guys. Well, there you go. Congratulations. You know, it's great that you have such a pronounceable name. Everyone, I hope you loved that first battle. In fact, they were intense. It was only 5-0, which is a bit of disappointment, but we now know who is in the finals. At least one of those teams. Now we have a choice between Kazna Crew and the Wombats, and it's a tough choice. Do you go with your heart or do you go with statistics? That choice is entirely up to you. How about you tell us in the chat and we will look. And again, if you don't know which one to pick for, just type in banana. Last time it was the banana that won, I believe, but still, we want to hear what your choice is. And we'll be in the chat. Don't worry, we're not going very far, because after a very short break, it's Kazna versus Wombats.